Hey guys, this is Trenchy back again to bring you another video, and we're at that time of year again. It is October, it is Halloween season, and I haven't reviewed like some actually kind of spooky stuff on the channel in a while because I've been doing, I don't know, I like to shake it up. I don't really consider this fully a horror channel. This is a variety channel. We do all types of like reviews and just random stuff on here. But it is Halloween season and Halloween's my favorite holiday. So we're gonna be doing some spooky reviews and stuff. Yeah, we're gonna be doing some creepy stuff. And that's the only time the lighting will be good in this video, apparently. But now today we will be, or maybe right here too. Today we are going to be reviewing a Disney Channel original movie, a DCOM. We're reviewing a DCOM for our first kind of Halloween review. I don't know how many I'm gonna do. We'll just see as it goes. But I'm reviewing one of the really good Disney Channel original movies. Don't Look Under the Bed from 1999. Starring Ty Hodgins and Aaron Chambers. That's the only actors I knew, cause I know Ty Hodgins from Even Stevens. He played like Ren's nemesis. I forget what his name was on the show, but he was like the antagonist to Steven's older sister Ren, and I think it was his older sister. And he was like, they kind of competed in school. And he was kind of this over-the-top kind of antagonistic character, always trying to prove that he's smarter than Ren. And like, that was a really fun part he played. And he does really good in this too. And I wanted to look up the main girl's name because I wanted to have her name, but I already knew Ty Hodgins, but I just wanted to make it equal and get the main girl's name, and I'm pretty sure it's Aaron Chambers. I googled it. May have forgot or gotten it wrong, but yeah, Aaron Chambers. I don't know her from anything else. But since I knew, Mr. Hodgins' name, I wanted to have the main girl's name as well. Screw everybody else. Screw everybody else, but no, I'm just kidding. Nobody's bad in this movie. Everybody does a good job. But Don't Look Under the Bed is an underrated kind of Disney Channel original kind of horror Halloween type movie for kids. Because everybody talks about Halloween Town. I like Halloween Town. It's not as great growing up, but like, it's still fun with it. I've never seen Under Wraps, but I heard that's really good. I like the Scream team a lot. And just for Disney horror movies in general, The Watcher in the Woods, and like, Something Wicked This Way Comes are always going to be top notch. Hocus Pocus is really fun, but Don't Look Under the Bed, I think, should get more attention than it does. It should get more attention than it should. No, than it does. Because I think it's a very fun, could creep out children at times, very fun kind of horror kind of story that one focuses on one of the most interesting mythological kind of horror creatures that doesn't really get too much shine. The Boogeyman. I'm the Boogeyman, and I'm coming to get you. The wrestling character, but you know, you don't really see many movies with the Boogeyman. There was that horrible, like, early 2000s Boogeyman movie. There was the Billy and Mandy movie, but, you know, out of all, like, shit, fucking Krampus is getting more shine than the fucking Boogeyman does. Like, I'm pretty sure there have been other movies with the Boogeyman in it, but, like, he doesn't really get that status. Like, I don't know, like, some of, like, the real-life kind of horror, kind of, like, you know, like, people believe in real life, like Satan, Krampus, kind of the stuff that have originated from, like, ancient kind of mythology. I don't know where the Boogeyman originated from, but, you know, like, folklore characters. Like, even Bloody Mary. Bloody Mary gets more shine than the Boogeyman does. And I think this is a very interesting take on a Boogeyman story. It's a very well done story about the horrors of growing up too fast and the horrors of, you know, losing that childlike imagination. And I think that's a very interesting topic for a movie to tackle, especially a Disney Channel original movie, which usually plays it safe and stuff. Now, I still think Lemonade Mouth is still the best Disney Channel original movie. Now, I haven't seen them all, so if people want me to, I would review all the Disney Channel original movies and, like, maybe rank them or do some stupid shit, but that's last resort and only if you want me to, but that would be in the way future, and that would take a lot of time, so if you want me to, put it in the comments, but, I'd rather you not, but, you know, fuck it, I mean, I'm willing to, but, even though that's an incredibly stupid thing to say, but, no, where was I? Like, Lemonade Mouth tackles a lot of serious stuff, but this does too. And I think this is a very enjoyable movie. Now, to get into the plot, we had this girl called Frances. Very logical, very mature. She skipped a grade. She is now in high school when she should be in middle school, because that's how mature she is. And, you know, her brother, she has an older brother who doesn't really get much shine. He's just kind of like the dickish older brother, but not like hateable dickish, just like regular kind of dickish, you know, kind of like, oh, just older brother kind of dickish, but not like a piece of shit, just like a little dickish. And you got the little brother who is also very mature, and he suffers from leukemia and had to get a bone marrow transplant from the older brother, like blood or marrow transplant to like help him go in remission. And I guess he is in remission, but you know, there is this like kind of underlining fear, could he get sick again or stuff, because leukemia is a very serious disease. A very serious disease to be tackling in a Disney Channel original movie. So yeah, this kid had leukemia. And there are random pranks happening around the town. Like everybody wakes up at 7 a.m. or 4 a.m. because the clocks were messed up and said it was 7. They were pushed forward. There's cars getting egged. There's random graffiti happening all around the town on people's shoes and just in random places. Like shit not a regular human could do, but nobody thinks about that, obviously. Nobody goes to a supernatural source. Dogs are ending up on roofs. Just, her friend, Frances' friend, tells her a secret, and then it ends up being written in flowers. And she gets mad and won't talk to her anymore, but, yeah, So there's some like force being causing pranks around the town, and meanwhile, at the same time, Francis starts seeing this dude that no one else can see, played by Ty Hodges. I think I think his name also Eric, but I know him as Ty Hodges. Um, but he is kind of, we find out he is an imaginary friend, and the voice in his head told him to come to this town to help Francis discover who is doing these pranks and to stop them, because Francis is kind of getting targeted by them, like I said, and people are starting to like put the blame on her and think she is running a gang of juvenile delinquents that are causing pranks around the town, like filling a giant swimming pool full of gelatin. All these are, the idea is a little crazy, but it's fun. And the imaginary friend's name is Larry Houdini, and I love the dynamic between Francis and Larry, like, because Francis is kind of like, you know, she's very logical, very kind of dry, kind of like, you know, kind of like the like in this comedy act, she is the straight woman, the straight man. She's the one that's very down to earth, always thinking of a logical situation, not putting up with Larry's bullshit. And Larry is just over the top, fucking childish insanity, kind of like ADHD type shit. He's always doing goofy stuff. He's imaginary friends, so he can switch his clothes. He's fucking doing magic tricks, dressing up as a knight, making all the kids laugh, making the kids have a good time, popping into TVs, popping into mirrors, wearing scuba diver outfits, playing basketball by himself, dressed in karate clothes, always saying crazy stuff. And he's a little sassy too. He'd be a little like kind of pushing back to Francis. He'd be like, "Did I say I was your imaginary friend, Francis?" And just the body language. It's lots of fun. You can't see me. I'm in the dark. But then why isn't the lighting getting picked up like it usually does when I'm in the light spots? Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. But fuck. Where was I? But no. Fuck. I lost my place. Rewind. But I just like that. I like that duo. I like that she's kind of like done with this shit. She's kind of like, you know, very straightforward. Like, I don't believe in the Boogeyman. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what's up. The psychologist is like, "It's the Boogeyman, Francis. Believe in me. Come on. It's in the book, Francis. The guy in the head told me." And it's like, she's like, "You have dissociative disorder or some shit." And he's like, "No, it's the same voice that like get like songs stuck in your head. That makes those like annoying songs that get stuck in your head." And then she's like, "No, that's Barry Manilow." They're just the dynamic's really fun. The dynamic's really fun. And as the story gets on, it really, well, there is the fun stuff of trying to stop the Boogeyman and figure out why the Boogeyman is targeting Francis. And also Francis dealing with the fact that her parents, her mom is kind of supportive. She also, like, we need to be supportive of her, but I also think she might have been hypnotized by a gang. And the dad's like, she needs psychological help, even though it's weird, because at one point, I don't know, it feels like the parents had these weird flip-flops. Like, there's one point they find all the Jell-O, and this is before shit starts really getting pointed at Francis. It is a little bit, but they find all the gelatin missing, and they immediately go to Francis, even though Bert's acting more suspicious than Francis is. And then the next step later, she's saying, the mom's saying, my Francis would never do anything like this. And then, and then there's a scene where the dad's like kind of like nonchalant about it while the mom's freaking out. But then later the dad is freaking out and the mom is kind of frantic but kind of cool. It's just weird. It's just weird, the dynamic with the parents. But no, I like this, like, as the story goes on we get emotional because we start finding out why the boogeyman's there. We more about the leukemia, and there is some body horror in this movie because as the movie goes through, Larry starts changing for reasons, and I won't explain that, maybe in a spoiler section, but if you haven't seen the movie, I won't go into why, but like, he starts changing kind of physically and like his demeanor. Like, there are scenes where he will get mean, and some of it's kind of over the top, but some of it's like, damn, like, it's some good acting because he'll like flip into this meanness and it will get kind of like creepy and like it will just, my bad, it will just get like, I don't know, just that acting and shit. And there's a scene where he finds out something and he like flips on her and she starts getting like really emotional. This happens a couple times. And I will say, Erin Chambers, good actress. I thought she did really good with the emotional scenes. I mean, I guess you could have done a little bit further with it, but I think it works. I think it works for the character, and I think that she nailed those like really tough emotional scenes. Which I really like. The dynamic between these two characters are great, like I said before. And like the body horror stuff, it's cool. It's nothing gross, but it's like, it's still there. You can't say it's not body horror. It is. It's a person transforming against their will physically. That's kind of cool to see in a Disney Channel original movie. Even though I guess they do that in some of the like Wizards of Waverly Place, they turn people into pigs and stuff, but this was a little different. I love the twist with the Boogeyman. Well, we find out who the Boogeyman is, even though I do have a problem with it, which I think I will do spoilers, because like one of my problems with the movie entails a spoiler. So I already went over the weird thing with the parents. I don't have that many problems with the movie though. But yeah, and then I also want to bring up Boogie World, because we do go to the world of the Boogeyman, and it is cool. It's kind of this underbed world with like these giant toys and stuff, and peanut butter sandwiches, and it's really cool like that. The action sequences at the end is fun. We get like a sword fight with not real swords, but like just like a pen and claws and stuff, and it's just fun. And you also you end the movie with fucking Boogie Wonderland by Earth, Wind and Fire. I had to look it up because I was like, where have I heard the song before? It's like a shortened version of it, but I'm like, where have I heard this song before? And I'm like, this song's great. I know I've heard this before, and I had to like look up the name because I didn't know it like that. I'm like, oh shit, yeah, it's this song. Great song to end the movie with. But yeah, I really like this movie. I think it's highly enjoyable. And I really like how it tackles the ideas of growing up and like what does it mean to be a grown up, and the idea of like people that have to grow up too fast, kids that lose their childlike innocence because of situations, and how tragic that can be when that happens. And the fact, even like when you're an adult and you lose all your childlike imagination, how tragic that could be, and like losing your childlike, imagination as a kid too soon and stuff like that. Like the tragedy of that. Because yes, when you're an adult, you gotta be mature and shit, of course. But also, you should. But also, I think that you should try to hold on to that imagination as well, because it's okay not to have childlike imagination as an adult, but some of the best adults I've met, and I guess I'm an adult to a certain degree. I don't know. We can debate that. That's very debatable. But some of the best adults I've met, yes, they are mature, and yes, they are grown ups, and yes, they they have their shit together to a certain degree, to a certain degree. But they they still know how to have fun. They still have an imagination. They still can be silly. They're not, you know, they're still fun, enjoyable people to be around. And it's like you can still be very mature and like still be fun to be around and stuff. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying I don't think it's bad to. I think it's very good to try to preserve that childlike imagination. Now, don't let it rule you or anything. Like, don't go too crazy with it, but I think it's good to have a healthy balance of both when you're an adult. Um, because I just think, I don't know, imagination's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And to lose it, it just kind of taking the brightness out of life and stuff. And um, like it's and I'm not saying I can go crazy and stuff all the time, but like because I've seen very mature people still have that little childish side to them. Like I've seen some of the maturest people. It's like, oh, you would think, oh, that guy wouldn't be fun to hang around. He's too mature. But then you hang with him, and he's still mature. But then he or she has this fun side to them as well that they just kind of spring on you, and you're like, yeah, it's fun. Um, so yeah. So I really like that was being covered in this movie, and they kind of used the kid with leukemia to kind of, and Frances herself to kind of like talk about kids growing up too fast and the childish imagination and stuff. I really like that part of the movie. Like, and like I said, there are some flaws. The things with the parents are weird. Some people might find Ty Hodges annoying. I don't, personally. And I love his kind of transformation part, and kind of when I just love how he plays both that goofy, friendly friend and just that, but also kind of like sassy friend, but also like just this like mean, kind of darker side, kind of horror side as well. And should I get into I gotta get into the Boogeyman. So, the Boogeyman character is great. I like the like effects, like the purpleness and the mist, and like the dolls, the porcelain dolls are moving in the house and looking around. When he's around, I like how we usually only see his hands and his claws. I wish they would have done more of not revealing him only for shadows and stuff, but I guess they needed that important scene with him and Houdini, Larry Houdini. I guess they just that scene was important, so I get why they showed him. But what kind of him? But I think the look of the Boogeyman is cool. It's a fun, creepy look, and I like how they just showed him in shadows and had that cool purple lighting and stuff in the mist, and I was just kind of fun, just kind of this fun, threatening character. Like, not like your kids. I do not believe anybody's kids would be traumatized by this. Maybe they are. Maybe they might. But I don't know. I think it's very rarely. I think it's very rare. I mean, especially with a lot of shit kids see today just on the internet. I mean, they should be fine with this movie. But yeah, also the parents are fucking... Just the adults in this movie, there are some really funny scenes with the adults I really like. Like, there's one scene where this woman's just trying to, like, spread her fury, and she's like, oh, I think the bone marrow transplant, I think Francis has this, like, underlying hatred for having to be the one to do the bone marrow transplant, and it's like, but she didn't do the transplant, it was her brother, and it's like, it was her older brother, and she couldn't do it. And it's like, oh, well, just a theory. And there's another scene where that woman ends up, like, eating a sock. I won't get into how that happens. And she's like, they're all like, you know, like, fanning her, and she's like looking like she's about to throw up. And it's a very silly scene. But yeah, all in all, which I will do a spoiler section. All in all, this is a good movie. I think one of the better Disney Channel original movies. I like Halloween Town a lot, but I can say that this one's technically better. Plus, this does have a creepier scene where all the music stops and all you hear is the rustling in the wind and just noises in the background, and everybody's frozen besides Francis for like a minute, and there's just no music, and just my bad, it got cut off. But the creepiest, it was just the wind and just her stepping around and nothing else, no sound. And then all of a sudden time starts again and everybody starts running around and yelling and there's music and stuff. But all in all, I give this movie an 8. I mean, I wish the older brother had a bigger role or something. I just feel like he was just randomly there to be like, to make Francis not be the one to have the bone marrow transplant, so they can like kind of dig into that, which they do. Yeah. The parents kind of flip-flopping a little bit, and another thing I will cover at the end of the video, which in the spoiler section. But yeah, I do recommend, if you, like, maybe even if you're an adult, you might enjoy it. You might not, but it's a fun kind of horror movie. If you have, like, little kids and you want to, you know, not put on something too scary, but not put on something as silly as Halloween Town, I would say try this. Because this is, plus it might be a good little conversation starter and stuff. And also it's, you know, not as silly as Halloween Town. Doesn't have that, like, cheesiness, but it's also, like, not gonna like horrify, I don't think. So I would recommend it. But yeah, now to the spoiler section of the video. So boogeymen are what happens when people forget about when kids forget about their imaginary friends too soon. And we see that kid is Larry. Larry Houdini is the imaginary friend of Francis's brother. And he forgot about him because Francis told him to like let go of this childness because you gotta grow up, because you gotta believe in doctors because you're getting sick and I don't want you to be afraid, so this is my solution for not being afraid, because she was kind of forced up to grow up quick because with her brother getting really sick and she didn't know what to do, and she was also might have been the one chosen for the bone marrow transplant, and we find out she was scared of that. And she's kind of ashamed to admit that because she thinks being an adult means not being afraid, which is very silly. But as the movie goes on, and we have like the body horror of the claws growing and the eyes turning purple on Larry, and Larry freaking out on her and being like, "You're the one that fucked this up for me. You're the one." He doesn't say "fuck this." Oh my god, that would be crazy. You're the one that fucked me up. You're the reason why I'm turning into a monster, you dirty bitch. But no, he doesn't say that. But that would have been great. But no, he's like, "You're doing this to me, friend. Because you were scared." But even when he's turning into this monster, he's also trying to fight it. And I love this scene where she's like, "Why are you being so mean?" And he's like, "I'm turning into the boogeyman. What do you expect?" What do you expect? I'm turning into a monster. But I love the part where she admits she was afraid. And he's like, "Look, that's perfectly logical. That's a perfectly logical thing." Because, she's always trying to bring up logic. And I love, like, they go to the Boogie World and we find out that Francis had an imaginary friend growing up. I think her name was Zoe. And the imaginary friend is the boogeyman. And at the end she's able to, because, well, she gets Daniel, I think Daniel's a little bird, she gets Daniel to believe in his imaginary friend again, bringing Larry back from the brink of going full boogeyman, which he was at one point. And then he has the cool fight with the boogeyman at the end. And when they find out they can't destroy the boogeyman, Frances digs deep down and remembers it's her old friend. And she starts believing in her again. And she awakens Zoe from her boogeyman state and brings her back. And then as we find out, she's like, "Not boogeyman, boogie person," which I think is a great joke at the end of the movie. Boogie person. Because we find out she's a woman. Even though in the boogeyman form she looks like a man. That's the biggest complaint, because Ty Hodges still looked like himself, just kind of boogeyman-ish. But Zoe did a whole total transformation. Which I get was the big twist is, she was this female imaginary friend. I get why they did it, but why not just make the boogeyman a female? I know it's because he's called the boogeyman, but I don't know, you could call it the boogie woman. I don't know, I feel like that would have been cool. I think a woman could have been scary, and you can have the same actress. I don't know. I think she could have channeled that energy, or like maybe just find another actress like that could probably pull off the creepiness, you know. But I'm kind of disappointed that they just didn't keep like the guy that played the Boogeyman was great. He was great, but like, why didn't they just make it make the Boogeyman a woman if she was gonna be a woman the whole time? Like, I don't know. It doesn't really make sense that Ty Hodgins would stay the same, but she would take this total transformation into a dude. It's just kind of, why didn't he transform into a different looking dude or a woman or something? I just thought it was weird that he looks pretty much the same, but she looks like this total different person. And I don't know. I think I get it. They wanted to be like the Boogeyman, but there could have been a cool scene where they're calling the Boogeyman, and then the Boogeyman appears on the woofer. It's like, you're a woman, you're not the Boogeyman, and then just that Boogeyman character could have been like, it's a boogie person, and like the creepy voice. Because I did find it funny at the end that they were saying boogie person, but they should have kept that like joke running throughout the movie. But that's why she had been targeting Francis, and then they all go back to the real world, and Zoe and Larry are gonna go to this other town to face off against another Boogeyman. But Larry said he would return for Daniel, of course, to talk to him. I think that's his name. I don't know. But like the little kid with leukemia, and at the end, she's like all sad because she's like, I could see you guys, it's logical, I'm still old enough to believe in you guys, and they're like, no, you're too old now. Like, you're too old to believe. Like, to see us, exactly, like, it's, like, Daniel's still young. Like, he lost it too early, and you did too, but at the same time, now, at this point in your life, you're older. And we can't stay around forever. You got to be a little mature. I like how they have that balance. Like, she can't stay a kid forever, but she also needed that little imagination kind of put back into her. And there's a fun scene at the end where where she's like, why does this gotta happen, and all this logic, and Larry's like, I got this, and he kisses her, and I think this is one of Disney's first, because I think I've neglected to mention Ty Hodges is black, African American, and the Erin Chambers, Frances, she's white. So this is like one of Disney's first, I believe. I could be wrong, but I think it's one of their first biracial kisses in a movie or something like that. And I guess Disney really didn't want it. I have fact check me if I'm wrong, but I think Disney really didn't want this to happen, and the director had to fight for it because Disney are racist bastards and still are too, but just in a different way. And now, like, they did not want that kiss in the movie, and it's just a peck on the cheek. It's nothing remotely really sexual. It's just a little kiss. But, and I don't know if it was because of the sexualness of the kiss, which there's nothing there anyways, but like, I don't know, the other Disney movies had kisses, but like, yeah, they really didn't want that kiss between Ty Hodges and the girl in the movie. and Aaron Chambers, but the director fought for it and he got it in. And it's a cute scene. Him kind of showing her like, yeah, you are grown up with the kiss. It was like a cute, funny scene. And you are too grown up for us. And then they go off, and yeah, and then she has this nice scene with the boy being like, look, being a grown up isn't being afraid. Like, how you deal with being afraid is it's kind of like pretending. It's using your imagination. You pretend you're not scared when you are. And that's kind of what being brave is. It is kind of pretending. Like, and it's such a beautiful moment between the two characters, and between the sister and the younger brother. And I like how she's dealing with the guilt, like she caused this, but in the end she realized her mistakes, and that little nice little lesson about growing up and stuff. And this is just a nice little movie. I really enjoy this movie. And like I said, I really recommend it. But yeah, this is the spoiler section. Like, if you're still watching, if you clicked off, that's fine, but yeah, in the end of the day, like I said, I give this an 8. I think this is a fun little Disney scary movie. I'll try to be back with more stuff like this, and I might be doing some other things with other people. But yeah, sorry about the camera turning off midway through the last one. I don't know what happened. But yeah, I hope you guys have a good day. Stay frosty. Happy Halloween season. This is Trenchy signing off. Beep out.
Ren, that was brilliant, inspiring, and quite a toe tapper.
Thank you, Miss Levelson.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay, she didn't say anything except we went to the moon.
I know, Larry. That's why Ren is receiving a failing grade.
I'm failing? I got an F?
Well, what do you know, Ren? Ren got an F. That's got to be a first. I can't believe that she messed up so badly.